So the first step in setting up the gyro in your plane is simply to mount it. There's a couple considerations. You simply want to make sure that the gyro is in line with your axis. So you want to make sure that it's not tilted 45 degrees this way or 45 degrees up and down, that your XYZ axes are all parallel to each other. So you don't want to have it at an off angle. You can actually mount the gyro sideways rather than flat as it is here in the plane. This is on the fuel tank base of the plane. But you do need to go into the programming to specify and tell it that it's being mounted sideways. But otherwise, you're pretty free to mount this gyro anywhere in the plane as long as it's level and true to the axis of the plane. Okay, so the gyro is basically just going to simply go between your receiver and your servos. You can really think of it as a servo extension with a computer attached. So all you're going to do is take out one plug from your receiver, it really doesn't matter which one, and put it into one of the channels on the CORTEX. And then you'll take that same channel from the Demon CORTEX and plug it into the servo that the receiver was going to originally. The gyro has 5 channels. So for 3D planes, the way I'm going to set this up is we're going to use the 2 aileron servos, the 2 elevator servos, and the 1 rudder servo so that the gyro is in between and communicate with all your main surface servos. This will allow for full control of the plane by the gyro. So again, it doesn't matter which servo goes into which port, but you're going to take one and plug into the other. So looking at the chart in the Demon CORTEX information, what you'll see in the diagram is that there's a little divider here on the gyro, and there's a wire harness here that's going to plug into this section of the gyro like that. All these wires are going to run to your receiver, and then all these channels down here after the divider are going to go out to your servos. So starting in order just past this divider, you've got A, B, C, D, and E. Those are the 5 channels going out to your servos, and these are the 5 channels that are coming in from your receiver or going out to your receiver, however you want to look at it. So basically, we're going to start by pulling this aux2, which I told you is my left elevator. So we're going to pull that from here, and we're going to plug that into the A port on the Demon gyro. And let me check one thing here, make sure I've got the polarity correct, and it looks, yeah, okay, that is correct. So the negative is going to be to the outside here. So this is going to, the left elevator is going to be your A channel on this wire harness, which if you look at the diagram again, that's going to be the first wire coming out from this harness is going to be your A channel. So that's going to run into my aux2 just like that. And then this whole thing, when we're done, we'll plug it in. I'm going to keep it out of the way for now for simplicity's sake. So again, this wire that I just plugged in is going to go out to my left elevator. So again, just to keep it out of the way, I'm going to keep all this out of the way for now. And then so on and so forth. So now we're going to pull aux1 right here, and that is my left aileron. So we're going to pull that, we're going to put that in channel B, and then we know that when we hook up the harness, that channel B, which is going to be the second wire that has all 3 wires, that's going to be going to our left aileron, to our, I'm sorry, we're going to do that now. That's going to plug into the aux1. All right, and then we're going to unplug rudder. And we are going to take our rudder servo and plug it straight into channel C. And then channel C is the orange wire. So we're going to take the orange wire from the wire harness here, and we are going to plug that into rudder, making sure that the signal wire is at the top on this receiver. So just make sure you keep those colored wires at the top of your receiver, wherever they belong. Now next is elevator, so I'm going to unplug the elevator, and I'm going to plug that into channel D. And then channel D, which is yellow, is going to plug into elevator. Okay, then finally aileron. We're going to unplug aileron and plug that into channel E, the final channel. And then we are going to plug in channel E from the wire harness, which is green. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I messed those up. So green is E, so I'm going to put that into aileron. Yellow was actually channel D, was what I was supposed to plug into elevator. So I switched those around by accident, but I'm fixing that right now. Okay, so now all those are synchronized. They've kind of gone in between. Again, this gyro basically is just going in between the receiver and your servos. And now that I've got all those plugged in, I can take the wire harness and plug the entire harness into the Demon CORTEX, which it can only go one way because of that notch in the power board. Now lastly, there's this gray wire. That's your auxiliary channel, and that's going to go into, say, your gear switch on your receiver. And that's what's going to enable you to be able to turn on and off the gyro. And you want to go ahead and make sure that that gear switch is set to a 3-position switch, because you want to be able to turn the gyro off, turn it on regular flight mode, and then also be able to turn it on to hold mode for hovering. So that's really all you do as far as plugging it in and setting it up. Now in just a moment I'll turn on the plane and kind of show you how to calibrate it.